one thing I noticed that was fairly recent that really encouraged me is the community gardens everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Because in the 80s, when Russia, when the USSR was no longer able to help out with oil and many imports from the USSR, the years were terrible for Cuba. Suddenly, it's like a lifeline goes, and they had to do everything themselves and invent new ways, new customers for what they produce, and also to manage themselves. And everywhere now you see these community gardens, vegetable gardens, so that people are much more self-sufficient and the diet is much better. But there were years when people were living very poorly. I'm sure you know more than I do about that, Clara.
Yes. When my father was a principal in a school, so I grew up knowing a lot about the kids in the school, and my parents used to tell us, to my brother and myself, look, those kids that cannot come to school sometime is because they don't have money the parents don't have the money to buy shoes for the kids to go to school, because the only job that the parents can do is work in the sugarcane plantation, and that for only work for so many months in a year, and the rest of the months there was no money coming to the family, so they were very poor, and it was very difficult for poor people to come and go to school. My father started in schools in the taking a horse for 4 hours or whatever when he became a teacher, and eventually moved into working in the towns and things like that. But I have all the histories at home of that, what he explained to us from as we were growing up. We had to always share. We had to respect the poor, always defend the poor. That's what we had to do. There's not a very good system that we have in the moment. That was what he always told us. And my brother and I turned out that, of course, believers of the revolution because our background. And I remember kids that were very, very poor and didn't, for example, didn't have money to bring some lunch for school. And I remember sharing from day one my lunch with whoever was sitting next to me. Because
so has that changed? Is that growth?
Yes.
Yeah.
The kids are now put in special schools where they go Monday or Sunday evening and they come out Friday evening and visit the house in the weekend. And I think they have to be 8 years old or something for that. And the school, they offer everything they need. All the food is covered, all the books are covered, everything. They have a school free until university. They can take university whatever they want to. That is the reason that Cuba has produced so many doctors. We have doctors in Cuba, and we have doctors from many countries learning in Cuba. And these Cuban doctors are now in many parts of the whole world. Every time that is a problem in many countries, Fidel usually, but now whoever is in charge, Raul, they will tell them that we have 2,000 doctors to send, and those doctors have a pack with everything that is necessary to help in earthquakes, storms, in any disaster in the world. We send doctors free of charge. We have people at the moment that come from certain South American countries. They come to Cuba. They get free operation from cataracts, for example, and sometimes now at this moment it's difficult to get into Cuba in a hotel because the hotels are full from people from Latin America that they have come to this operation that are free to them. We had trade with Venezuela, we had trade with Bolivia, we had trade with many other countries, and we change services from our doctors, and we send teachers to all those countries that need teachers.
Yeah, there are even American students, medical students studying in Cuba now.
Wow,
yeah,
cool. You know what, we're halfway through here. If people have just tuned in, you're listening to The Winds of Change at CFUV Radio 101.9 FM. We're speaking with Clara and Allison, who are raging grannies, and have recently returned from Cuba. And on the line is Charity Hume. And we're just going to take a little music break, if everybody's okay with that. And the music that I have, Charity, remember a while ago I said that I'm pretty sure I have some raging grannies on tape.
Way to go.
Yeah, I found them, and it's not the best recording. It's just my little handheld, but it's from one of the peace rallies. And Allison, you introduced this song, Underneath the Bombers. Now, who actually writes these songs?
Oh, I write the songs. I write a draft, and then everybody argues and fights and changes things, which is wonderful.
Yeah. All right, so Underneath the Bombers, is there a story that goes with this?
This is about the... It's a serious song. Usually we write I write more satirical stuff, but when the Iraq War started, we really couldn't feel that there was anything funny for the people who are living in Iraq. So it's one of our more serious ones.
Okay, so we'll listen to that and a couple of promos, and you'll hang in there, Charity. Hey?
I'll hang in.
All right, we'll be right back.
We're really sick and tired of having to sing the same old songs about Iraq. We do have some fancy old ones that we're going to entertain you with, and then a new one about Afghanistan. So the first one is Underneath the Bombers. Underneath the bombers, too far down to see, live ordinary people, just like you and me. You want to meet them, Mr. Bush, instead of being in such a rush to murder women and children for home security. Underneath the preaching, we know Uncle Sam thinks that all Americans no matter worth a damn. You want to meet them, Mr. Bush, and even you might have to blush at murdering women and children for home security. Underneath the humbug, we know Uncle Sam doesn't care who dies if it happens to Islam. You want to meet them, Mr. Bush, instead of being in such a rush to